short presentations about the Gita and the importance of sharing it. And today will be an extension on that. Before we begin though, we're going to have an award ceremony for the Krishna Fun School Gita contest. So yesterday there was a Gita contest in which the students and other children participated. And Mother Gita, you can tell us about the KFS and give the awards, invite the award recipients. So this is Mother Gita. She serves as the coordinator for the Sunday's Krishna Fun School, and with her team, she has done a remarkable job of teaching our young children the application of Bhagavad Gita and many other nice things. So Mother Gita and Mark.
Hare Krishna.
We ask everyone to come forward, slide a little bit of sliding yoga, at least 6 feet if not more.
Hare Krishna everyone. Krishna Fun School at Iskcon, Toronto is a Sunday school which runs classes for children 3 years to 17 years old. We have 4 different groups and it's based on a curriculum based on the Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedic scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita. So our children regularly perform during the temple festivals and all that. And then we also have some annual programs like the Gita contest every December, just around Gita Jayanti time. And then we have summer camps and summer reading programs and all that, a lot of stuff going on for children. So we encourage all parents to take this opportunity to avail this for your children. And here I am very happy to present the winners of the Gita contest from yesterday. So the first category, 3 to 5 years, first prize goes to Ananya Iyer. And a special prize to Ojas Kolam. He is not here yet. Second prize, Airavati Brahmi and Anvita Kar. They are also not here. Third prize goes to Nilakshika. Not. Special prize to Yajna Dhananjay. Hare Krishna. Category 3, 10 to 12 years. First prize goes to Vivankar. He is not here today. Second prize, Sanvi Vanam. And the special prize for this category goes to Denisa Madhav. Category 4, 13 to 17 years. First prize goes to Avyukta Sri Ganesh. Second prize goes to Ananya Bhakshi. Third prize goes to Mukunda Parthi. So these children have put in a lot of hard work. They have practiced and they put a group. They have so many assignments and projects. Despite that, we are very happy they came forward to take part in this contest. Thank you very much to our team. We have a dedicated team of teachers who help and a lot of volunteers who help us behind the scenes. Thank you, Maharaj, for helping us and encouraging us. Hare Krishna.
Well, I didn't know I was going to get a microphone.
Would you like to say something, winners?
So, it was always a concern by Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, that our young children get educated. And this kind of education is a little different. If I can ask you to, maybe before you go to bed tonight, open up your Bhagavad Gita, look up chapter 9, text 2, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. King of knowledge, etc. Secret of secrets, etc. Beautiful terms. And that's what the Bhagavad Gita study is all about. So this Gita contest, which was rendered yesterday in the temple here, went very well. And we are proud of our teachers as well as our students. They put out this extra energy, they volunteer their time to make it work. So that the world can become more enlightened. The more you increase the numbers, the human population of enlightened people, or at least divinely educated, then it just becomes a better world. You'll see. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna to the teachers.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj. So today, my name is Shama Mohini, and I'm going to be your host for today. We're going to have, like I mentioned, we'll have different presentations. We also have some quizzes, and I have lots of prizes to give away. So everybody who pays attention is going to get a prize. Okay? Today, as I mentioned, we have a presentation about the Bhagavad Gita. It is a very special holy day today, because today, in addition to being the month of Gita Jayanti, it is the day of the disappearance. So the day when Srila Prabhupada's Guru, so our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, who established Iskcon centers all over the world, his Guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada, it is his disappearance day. And it is very important for us to remember what his mood was. Because in understanding his mood, it brings us to the awareness of why what we're doing is important. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami was a very great scholar, and he was very well versed in all scriptures and many Vedic sciences like astrology. But he didn't find peace and happiness in any of that scholarly work. And that's when he turned to Krishna consciousness. Well, he didn't really turn, he was in Krishna consciousness through birth, but then he consciously accepted the path of Dhamma. And when Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, our Prabhupada, who was Abhay Charit, a young man with a family and a business, went to see him because one of his friends asked him to come and meet a Swami in Calcutta's Ultadanga Junction. He saw Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati saw Prabhupada and he said, "You can speak, you look like you're well read. Why don't you preach in English? Why don't you preach to the Western world?" Over the years, as Srila Prabhupada externally traveled through his spiritual journey, he took these words to heart. And meditating on this instruction of why don't you preach, why don't you share what you know, he created what we have today as Iskcon. There are centers everywhere in the world, from Russia to New Zealand. There's people reading the Bhagavad Gita in all remote places that we can't even think of, in more than 65 languages, and all of that started from that one instruction, that why don't you preach, why don't you share. Not just that, he also emphasized, so Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj told Prabhupada that if you ever get money, print books. It was very clear. In fact, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami was the one who established the printing press on the altar. So when we see the darshan of the deities, in the temple in Kolkata, if you go today, you can also see the press in the museum. He established the press on the altar because the press is as worshipful. It's producing the literature which, when it goes to people's lives, it transforms them. It's called the Brihad Mridanga, meaning the great Mridanga. When we do Kirtan in the temple here, or when you do Kirtan at home, the Mridanga travels a little bit distance. Maybe if you live in a condo like I do, sometimes your neighbors can get disturbed and the security may come. But it doesn't travel very far. But a book can travel really, really, really far. And it stays forever. That knowledge is there for anybody who will come after, and it carries on from generation to generation. So he called this the Brihad Mridanga, the great Mridanga. And he even told Srila Prabhupada that sometimes we get too comfortable in our lives. You know, we have a comfortable, the context he used it was different. We get very comfortable, I have a good place to stay, I have all the comforts, and so then what happens is people start fighting with each other because there is no goal. But when we take the responsibility of sharing something, when we take the responsibility of going into the great unknown, that's when we focus our attention on doing something better. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to ask his disciples, doesn't matter if you're a brahmachari, doesn't matter if you're a sannyasi, if you're a grihastha, he said every day, go and knock 3 doors. You have to knock 3 doors. And he didn't ask them to knock 3 doors because he needed something, or that the people who we were going to knock the doors to needed something, but it was because he knew that for anybody to advance in their spiritual life, they need to share. Because if we don't share, then we stagnate. And if we stagnate, we go back. Spiritual life is dynamic. You either increase or you decrease. There is nothing static, it's ecstatic. And the ecstasy comes when we share. So with that background, I wanted to come to today, when people all over the world, especially in this time of the year, they're focusing on distributing Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, and the goal for distribution, again, hint, I'm going to ask this question in the quiz, okay? So make sure you get the number correct. There is a global goal for distributing Bhagavad Gitas. And the global goal this year is 3 million Bhagavad Gitas, at least, which means we will do more than that. At least 3 million Bhagavad Gitas. Last year, there were 250 communities that participated all over the world. And like I already said, from Russia to New Zealand, many parts of India, as we know, India is the leader. We have so many books that go out in India, but everywhere, New Zealand, there's hardly any people on the street, but still Bhagavad Gitas are going on. This year, New Zealand is going to distribute at least 10,000 Bhagavad Gitas in this month. This month of December, at least 10,000 Bhagavad Gitas. So here in Toronto, we also have a goal. And our goal is 26,000 Bhagavad Gitas during this time. And this is our humble attempt to share this knowledge following in the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, who said that if you want to please me, you must distribute books. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, if you ever get money, print books. Now you may ask me, all this sentimental stuff is okay. You want to do it because Prabhupada said, you want to do it because Bhaktisiddhanta said, but I don't want to do it, Doesn't matter to me. Why should I bother? So actually, if we just take a step back and we look at the concept of a book and the concept of a human being. So human beings are open to suggestion. What that means is that we're constantly looking for things. That's why we're browsing on our screens, constantly changing the platform we're on. We're looking for information. We're looking for transformation. We're looking to be better. Everybody in some place in their heart, everybody wants to do better. Everybody wants to know better, act better, love better, be happy. So books contain idea seeds. The seeds that are there in a book, they enter into someone's life and they transform it. I'll give you an example from the secular world. I'm sure most of you have heard about the theory of evolution because you all went to school. And most of you went to the conventional schooling, let's say that. So it's a part of that. And how many of you have read the book by Charles Darwin? Not very many, but that's the power of the book. Because that book is there, so many of us believe in the theory of evolution. So books create revolution. Books transform lives. And that's why the importance of sharing knowledge. Just talking about the concept of knowledge, not specifically Bhagavad Gita or a particular scripture, but just sharing knowledge. Because everybody is eager. People want to be happy. People want to get better. And what better knowledge than Bhagavad Gita? Why, again, you may ask. If we look around in the world today, people are not suffering for the want of riches. People are not suffering because they don't have enough. People are suffering because they're not happy. The anxieties of the mind and the fear of the future is paralyzing the world today. 800,000 people commit suicide in 1 year. That's one person every 40 seconds. And yes, some of them we can argue about for reasons for not having enough material comforts, but we know that most of it comes from the mind and the anxiety of the future. And Bhagavad Gita gives the spiritual solution to the problems. Albert Einstein said a problem cannot be solved at its own level. So for the problems of our daily life, the anxiety of the mind, the hankering of the heart for a perfect environment, it can only be solved by a spiritual solution. And Bhagavad Gita gives that solution to us. It talks about how everything that's happening around us is temporary, it's fleeting. Things will come and things will go. But the life continues, the soul continues. It doesn't mean that we don't do our duty. We must do our duty. But the temporariness is the only thing that will stay. Happiness and distress will come and go. It talks about karma, it talks about for those who are serious in spiritual life, it talks about the concept of guru, how you can find a guru, what to do with a guru, what type of questions to ask. And it talks about what Krishna's mood really is. We can go on saying, as pious people who are here today, because you're not anywhere else, you chose to be here when it's snowing outside for the Sunday feast at Iskcon, Toronto. And so naturally you're very pious and good-hearted people. We want to know what Krishna's real mood is. And Krishna's mood is the Bhagavad Gita. In every era, Satya Yuga, Dwapar, Treta, Kali Yuga, the Ganga, you've heard of the river Ganga, comes down through different ways. In Satya Yuga, Ganga ji came when Varahadev poked Vamanadev poked the sky because he was taking 3 steps, and then Ganga ji came. In Dwapar Yuga, Krishna spoke the Gita, and that was the manifestation of Ganga. So that purity is what we need in our lives. Again, going back to the whole point about Bhagavad Gita being the transcendental solution for our modern problems. That's why we want to share the Bhagavad Gita. And of course I can speak a lot about it, but I don't want to just keep speaking the whole time. So the last point I want to address is, you may ask, okay, it's great, let's distribute the Bhagavad Gita, let's read the Bhagavad Gita, but why do you have to put a number? I have enough stress in my life. I have sales target at work, or I have deadlines for college if you go there, to film people, or I have the number of rounds I have to chant. I have enough stress. I don't need more numbers in my life. And the reason why we have numbers is to focus our attention. Spiritual life isn't just airy, fairy, sentimental stuff. It's serious business. When athletes prepare for their championship, they set a goal. They time how many seconds it takes for them to take a lap or to run around. So similarly, we have a goal because we want to focus our attention on this. And every year we want to do better and better. Why? Because Krishna says that there's nobody more dear to me than he who shares this knowledge. So this is our attempt to become dear to Krishna. Not because I want to save the world. Yes, that's a byproduct. Yes, somebody's life may get transformed because of reading the Bhagavad Gita. But the reason why I'm doing it, because I want to become dear to Krishna. And I know that when I become dear to Krishna, I can solve the problems of my life, and I can be a better person. The only way to do good, to feel better in our own life, is to decide to do better for somebody else. The last point that I want to make before we have some quiz and prizes is that what can you do? How can you get involved? So we discussed about how the Bhagavad Gita is a great gift, a great source of knowledge, how the world needs it, and what are the different ways in which you can get involved. So first of all, if you do not have the Bhagavad Gita, today is the day. Please come forward and take a Bhagavad Gita. If you have a Bhagavad Gita, take one for a friend as a gift, because there's no better gift than knowledge. Vidya Danam Param Danam. Giving knowledge is the best gift. And the third thing is, if you would like to sponsor Bhagavad Gitas so that we can place them in different venues across Canada, and we'll have a detailed presentation about it shortly. So 3 ways in which you can participate. More information will be available on this, but again, just to summarize all of this and everybody get ready for the quiz, is that human beings want to be better. Human beings want to be happy. The soul wants to be happy. But human beings are the most developed ones. So we have access. We can read the Bhagavad Gita, we can have a sadhana. And for us to read and share Bhagavad Gita, is a spiritual gift, is a spiritual legacy that we've been fortunate to receive. There are many people in the temple today, but there's many who are not. And it's to help those and help ourselves in doing this, in sharing this. So thank you very much. We're going to go ahead with the quiz now. Ready? My tech team is pulling up the quiz now. Everybody can get their phones out. We're going to have a Kahoot. If you can't read the pin, I can read it out to you. Please take out your phones. I have prizes also.